The Galactic Alliance had once seemed like humanity's ticket to the stars. Over 100 alien species, all united in peace and prosperity. When we made first contact, they welcomed us with open arms. We were primitive, they said, but full of promise. Under their guidance, we would take our place among the Council of Races. That was before the Tirum invaded. They struck without warning, a ruthless insectoid race bent on conquest and domination. World after world fell before their relentless onslaught. The Alliance reeled under the attack, its vaunted fleets shattered by the superior Tirum technology. On Earth, panic gripped the major powers. Our entry into the Galactic Alliance had been recent. We were still newcomers, our lone colony on Tau Ceti, our only foothold amongst the stars. If the Alliance fell, what hope did we have? Many among humanity called for immediate surrender to the Tirum. Better to bow and save ourselves than fight and be destroyed. I would not let that happen. As a young and newly promoted commodore, I was given command of the 14th Rapid Reaction Force, a small, untested squadron of human frigates and destroyers. We were dispatched to reinforce the crumbling Alliance lines, more symbolic than substantive support. Command did not expect us to turn the tide, but I knew humanity's future depended on what we did next. My officers did not see it that way at first. We are less than gnats to these aliens, my XO complained. Their ships are bigger, their weapons more powerful. My knowledge of history tells me the gnats always lose. I gave her a grim smile. Then it's time to rewrite the history books. Through courage, innovation, and no small amount of madness, me and my command began to take the fight to the Tirum. Small hit-and-run attacks, striking at their flanks then disappearing. It was trivial damage to them, but it caught their attention. Who were these upstart primitives, daring to defy them even as their armadas inexorably advanced? When the Tirum changed vectors to come after us, I knew our strategy was working. Every one of their ships, fixated on my insignificant human force, was one not menacing a world of the Alliance. By skill, determination, and luck, we continued to evade them, even landing some hammer blows on isolated Tirum patrols. Each small victory fueled the next. The Tirum commander was no fool. He began to dedicate more and more resources to eliminating this minor human irritant. He gave us an honorable Tirum designation, the Bothersome Fleas, and swore to see me crushed. Little did he know he was being played for a fool. Finally, the noose closed around my force at the Octarus star system. My engine coils were burnt out from months of hit and run. My agitated and exhausted crew looked to me to save them somehow. We have done the impossible so many times before, I told them. Let us do so again. Dodging and weaving, I led our pursuers deeper into the Octarus asteroid belt, seeking to lose them among the densely packed planetoids. It was here I sprung my trap. Half my force broke away, the Tirum splitting to follow both groups. I had bided my time, moving our apparent stand here until now, when Alliance High Command confirmed a significant fleet action was developing nearby. As we played our deadly game of cat and mouse through the asteroids, the Galactic Alliance 5th Fleet under Admiral Zath staged a desperate all-out attack on the Tirum's supply lines. The enemy commander would have no choice but to disengage and rescue his vital assets. My timing was perfect. The bisected Tirum fleet received the distress call and moved to assist, only to find their sublight drives mysteriously offline. In normal space, their hyperdrives would be useless, immobilizing them, stunned, in the heart of an asteroid field and under attack by the alien ships they had regarded with amusement and annoyance. They at last grasped the forlornness of their position. You see, while the Tirum commander had become obsessed with my band, I had been equally, secretly obsessed with him. Unknown to the Alliance, a stealth team from my force had pulled off an incredible commando raid, infiltrating and compromising the navigational computers of his flagship. When I lured him to Octarus on my terms, the hidden worms in his systems activated, turning his strength into weakness. Swarming through the asteroids came the human ships he had focused his ire on, plus dozens more Alliance warships, summoned here by tight beam communique. I masked as normal static, caught helpless between the rocks and angry fleets. The Tirum armada of over 50 warships was annihilated to the last ship. From there, Alliance combined arms began the push to retake their space, world by world. Mankind was celebrated not for our minor force, but our brilliant victory. Admiral Zath became fast friends with his hitherto unknown human counterpart, as our peoples fought the invaders together. The Tirum were not beaten yet. They remained dangerous foes and continued to advance. But word spread amongst Alliance citizens of the humans who tricked an arrogant commander into a death trap. We became heroes who delivered hope when all seemed lost. Alliance resolve strengthened and hardened. More ships, crews, and weapons poured into the fight from worlds newly awoken to possibility of victory. For Earth, we gained respect overnight from races millennia more advanced. No longer were we primitives to be tolerated and taught, but equals who had altered the course of the greatest war in galactic history. The Tiram designation, the Bothersome Fleas, became a badge of honor. Oriental spread of Commodore Stryker and the 14th RF, the gnats who made the giants bleed and planted the seed of their defeat. From that victory, the road to triumph began. When the Tiram sued for peace 3 years later, their expansion halted in core-ward territories. Recaptured, humanity sat in honor at the table. I was there in my dress uniform as the Treaty of Corindus was signed, guaranteeing lasting galactic peace. My daring gamble had saved trillions of lives across the stars and my homeworld's future. We had gambled against the odds, and won. As the delegates mingled, Admiral Zath approached me, his 4 eyes blinking in unison. So much destruction, he mused, looking out at the shattered Tiram delegation. I find no joy in such loss of life, and yet, if not for your actions, it could have been far worse. I followed his gaze to what had once been the proudest force in the galaxy. Broken, humbled, but still alive. In the darkest hour, that is when light shines brightest, I replied, echoing words my captain had once said, what seemed a lifetime ago. I would never forget his lessons in my moment of triumph. Zath made the trill gesture of agreement, his neck feathers fluttering. The Alliance owes you and humanity a great debt, one we can never repay. In our hubris, we turned a blind eye to your potential. You observed clearly in our blindness, we will not make that error again. I nodded back, accepting his words with humility. In our finest hour, I had not forgotten who we were. A young race still learning our place in the universe. Our unlikely victory did not place us above our peers, but alongside them. Back at the delegation, raucous Tiram voices were rising in typical bluster. Some things would never change. With respect, Admiral, the Alliance owes us nothing, I said softly, letting weary pride enter my voice. It granted humanity the chance to touch the eternal, glimpse our boundless future. That was payment enough. No more fitting words were ever spoken between our races.